What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Bubba Speed Career Mode in MotoGP 20. And it's time for us to head over to Europe, head over to the Gran Premio Red Bull de España, which is, of course, Jerez, which is a track that I have loved for a long time. And actually, I think I've mentioned this before, it's been a love-hate relationship over the years between me and this track, because I was never particularly good at it in the MotoGP 06 to 11 era, and that's when I stopped playing the games for a while, and I haven't really been good at it in the last couple of games. But in this game, I feel really good with it. I really enjoy it, and it's mostly because of the gameplay. Like I've said a million times, it's just so damn good. So I look forward to this track every single time we play the game, and I'm just excited about this. And I feel like this is the part of the calendar where we have to shine. Of course, got a great result in Argentina, getting the win. But now it's time for us to really go after it and see what we can actually do. I mean, that's where it's going to be kind of difficult, and of course, sorry, that's not where it's going to be difficult. It's going to be where we have to try to exploit the best of our abilities, and try to win as many races as we can now that we know we can win on these tracks. I think last year we performed well in Jerez, Le Mans, Mugello, I think Catalunya too, so we had three or four races in a row where we were actually pretty good, and I think that we have to repeat that this season if we want to have any chance of winning the title. Now, I will say I feel a lot more comfortable on the Moto2 bike than I did on the Moto3 bike, so that's always good to see, especially because it's still really early. But you know, I think, like I said, once we get past Catalunya and Sachsenring, that's probably where we're going to start to see a little bit of a drop off. But who knows? Maybe we're going to get better, and that would be huge for our chances of winning the title. Of course, qualifying. You guys haven't let me know, I think, in the comments whether or not you like seeing the qualifying lap, just to kind of get an idea of how I go around the track. You know, just kind of focus more on the time as opposed to the race itself. So please let me know in the comments what you think about the qualifying lap, and if and we'll see. Maybe I'll remove it later on, depending on how long the race is and stuff like that. But right now we're on course for getting pole. Cut it way on the inside. Made a huge mistake there. See if it costs us too much to where we aren't able to finish on pole position. 142.3. Yeah, we finished second. All right, so we're right there. Despite making that big mistake, we were only 1.57 away. So we were actually, 0.157. So really close. Luca Marini on top. I'm gonna go with a hard rear tire. Even though people are running with softs and mediums, I just feel like I'm more comfortable personally with a hard rear tire. I just feel like it ensures me, more durability, of course. I'm sacrificing a little bit early on in the race, but at the same time, I sacrifice the early part of the race regardless, because I have a very full fuel tank because of my own personal taste. So let's see what we can do on the start. Going with 2 traction control and 1 power. I have to boost it up a little bit because I just feel like this is where, I don't know, this is what I've been feeling like has been giving me pretty decent starts. Definitely better than last season. And of course, a lot of that has to do with the bike. But we're going to stick with Power 1 for now, as of course Aaron Canet crashes, which is our rival from last season. He actually ended up beating us to the title. So obviously we don't want to see anybody crash, but the fact that he's having such a hard time in Moto2 is kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of like poetic justice in a way, even though it doesn't really make any sense because he didn't rob us of anything. He just had a hell of a second half of the season. But right now our main focus is, of course, Schroeder, who is top of the leaderboards. We have to stay with him, and we just have to beat him. That's our goal week in, week out. But of course, with such a long season left to go, the important thing is trying to get the wins. Obviously, if we can beat the people that are ahead of us, that's the most important thing. But winning is right now is our focus, especially, like I said, on these tracks right here. As we're sitting in 4th position, having a bit of a difficult first lap. But like I said, because I keep the fuel tank so full, and because I like to use harder tires, the first couple of laps, I'm not necessarily going to be the fastest guy on track, and at least that's what seems to be the way things are as we bump into whoever that was in 4th right there. Unfortunately, I think it was Baldassarre. No, it was Schroeder. Sorry, Schroeder. But yeah, I just feel like, we sacrifice the start a little bit to have a better run towards the end, and I always feel like towards the end is more important for me personally anyway, because that's where I struggle the most. Whereas at the start of the race, yeah, I might make some mistakes here and there, but at the end of the day, I can fix those. I can make up for those mistakes throughout the rest of the race. So right now, 3rd place is not a bad place to be. Oh, we're about to go in. Try to dive inside on Martin. Definitely went in too hot. Definitely bullshit by me right there. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't feel good about that. That's not the way it should be going, but it's what happened. And we took second position. Baldassarri is now in first, so I think he's actually pretty high up there in the championship standings too. So he's a guy that we need to watch out for throughout the season. He's on a decent bike. Baldassarri 1.3 above us. Let's see if we can actually gain on him in this lap and maybe get past him before the end of the lap. I definitely feel like we have it on the cards. Now we're getting into the part of the track where we're definitely faster. Now we're going to have to get on the brakes right at the 150 mark. I think that's going to set us up nicely. Get on the throttle nice and easy and then power through it. I'm definitely getting a lot better at that. That's been my main focus right now, is just getting better at easing through corners with the throttle, easing with the brakes, going hard when necessary, also going soft when it's the right thing to do. Pause. Definitely have to try to be as gentle as you can with these bikes, trying to go back towards being more like, say, a Jorge Lorenzo style rider as opposed to being a psychopath Marc Marquez type of thing, which is never the most reliable, unless of course you are Marc Marquez or even Casey Stoner. Baldassarri looking pretty good right now. I'm not gonna lie, his pace is solid. Almost cut the apex right there, but luckily we were able to just barely get it wide enough. We're gonna run wide a little bit. We're gonna get hard on the throttle right here, and we should get a decent drive. But like I said, man, Baldassarri is looking pretty good. Let's see what the gap is right now. It shouldn't be too much. It's pretty close, I would say. Yeah, 1 second. We gained 3/10. Fastest lap of the race is for Bubba Speed, 142.9, which is not bad at all. See if we can get on this lap. Now, we don't have to be in a rush. That was what cost us in Qatar, is that we were in too much of a rush trying to get the first position as fast as possible. And yeah, obviously it's always good to have first place and to put together a run of laps where you're maybe putting together, a second or two a gap between you and second, but you don't have to rush things, and that's kind of been my biggest issue over the last season and a half. Started off well last season, but then started to go a little bit nuts, and then yeah, I don't know. I just feel like with the new TV, everything is a lot more relaxing for me because it's just more enjoyable of a. It's just so much more enjoyable to play when you don't have to, squint your eyes at all times. And I just feel like, this is gonna be good for us, and eventually probably have to move up in the difficulty. It's kind of hard to judge for me because I'm just so confident in these tracks I've been doing for decades at this point, that once we get to the tracks that are newer, or some of the Asian tracks, which, yeah, I've done them a lot, but I just don't like that much, or even like the, of course, the South American and North American. I'm a huge fan of the European tracks, but not so much most of the other ones. Of course, Phillip Island I love, and stuff like that. I don't dislike Thailand either, but these are all these are the good tracks, so it's hard to judge because in those we're gonna struggle, and yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But Baldassarri right now is he's right in our sights. We're close enough to where in a lap or so I feel like we can probably catch him. Our biggest issue is the first sector. If we can keep right next to him on the first sector, we can definitely pass him in the next one. We got a 142.5, so we were actually 0.4 of a second faster than our previous lap, which was the best lap of the race. So we're really starting to move right now. Baldassarri has to know he's in deep shit. It's not looking good for him. I mean, he's doing well. He's definitely doing well. He's holding his own, and most importantly, he's racing his race. So if we get into a battle with him, he might have to start pulling some faster lap times. He needs to do it right now. See if we can go around the outside of him. He's going to get a better drive because we did kind of slide out of it. But our bike is fast. We can draft him. He's going to brake early. 150. Hit the brakes. Hard on the brakes. Hard on the brakes. Now softer. He's going to go on the inside. But we're going to try to cut it in. And there you go. We got him. We got Baldassarri. First position is ours. See if we can keep it now. He might push a little bit harder trying to get back to first. We'll see what happens. See if there's any fight in the guy. We ran a little bit wide going through Jorge Aspar. Now let's see as we go to Angel Nieto if we can actually just keep it calm, not make mistakes. I mean, we're so fast so far, and we already have a 6/10. I mean 6. Yeah, we have a 0.6 lead, so we're already moving. Like that just kind of goes to show you how much faster we are in these sectors right here as we go. Oh, almost crashed out. Clip the grass right there. If we can just get this final turn right, I'm not mad at it because we're going to get a decent drive. has to be noted our front tire is a little bit shot. It might not seem like it because it's still around halfway, but trust me, once you start to get here, you can notice a huge difference. Huge difference, which is why predominantly I go with hard, just because I feel more confident on it in the long run. But this time I wanted to go ahead and go with a medium because it was pretty cool. You know, the track wasn't that hot today, so I felt like it was probably smart to go with a medium, but it might bite me in the ass. Let's see what happens. Might have to turn up traction control, but right now we're still looking good. 0.4 only gained 2 tenths on us. So Baldassarri isn't going to die yet. We have to just try to maintain our pace. We have to do what we did in Argentina. Just keep doing our thing. Don't make any mistakes. And if we do make mistakes, just do whatever we can to make sure it doesn't impact us too much. As we hit an endo right there. Not going to lie to you guys, it's always cool when that happens. It's actually really fun. But, you know, have to try to reduce that as much as possible. Have to continue to improve being softer on the brakes, because a lot of times it does end up costing me. And also being better at using the body weight shifting on the bike. That's actually something I feel like is pretty underutilized by me and is pretty underrated in its importance. As we're starting to make a few mistakes here, going into the stadium section of the track. See if we can just kind of keep it calm. Baldassarri is right there, man. He's right there. So another huge mistake as we go in the gravel. Making a lot of mistakes, and and Baldassarri gets us, but we have the drive. Can we stay ahead of him going through this final corner? We're running it a little bit wide, and we're really starting to slide a lot. He gets past us. He's going to get up. He has a better drive than us, too. See if we can dive in on him. We are able to, but can we stick the turn? Can we stick the turn? We can. It looks like he's going to try to go around the outside. We're sliding so much right now. It's really difficult to get any kind of power going out of a corner when you have this kind of a slide. And it is mostly my fault because I'm going too hard on the throttle, trying to keep it nice and steady. This left-hander is where we're going to shine a little bit. I feel like we can get a good drive coming out of it. And if we can do well on this right-hander, this is where a lot of the race will be decided. Because if we blow it, he's going to get a hell of a drive. He's going to come out of there fast, and he could potentially draft us. But it looks like we're coming out just a little bit too fast for him as we get to 260 almost. Hard on the brakes. Now going a little bit softer. Don't make any mistakes. Pretty nicely executed, but a little bit too hard on the throttle. So we almost lost the rear end coming out of it. Left hand. Baldassarri's right there, and he crashes out. That is 100% his fault. That is not me. I was on my line. I was doing my thing. He went in trying to pull off a pass in a position that was just completely impossible. Let me know in the comments if you think that was my fault, but I firmly believe that was all Baldassarri. As Della Porta crashes out too. It'd be interesting to know if that was actually like Baldassarri getting back on the track and then crashing him out. Interesting. Gian Antonio, he's 1.8 behind us. I mean, now we can just kind of cruise our way to the end, not make any mistakes, just try to make sure we cross the line. That's all that matters. Not happy about that, man. Like, I don't like having controversy in these races. I mean, it's been kind of a theme over the last season and a half, but I don't want that to be the case. You know, I want it to be where it's clean wins. But Baldassarri, like I said, man, I firmly believe that was his fault. And we get our second win in a row as we go into Le Mans after this, feeling very confident now. Le Mans, Mugello, and then Catalunya. Arguably, I don't know, man. Like, I love Le Mans. I absolutely adore Mugello, my favorite track by far. The Catalunya is right there with my favorite tracks. Sachsenring is right there. So, a series of tracks that are really favorable for us as we take first position with an 8-point lead over Marcel Schroeder. Bezzecchi is 23 points. Gian Antonio is 28. Very, that's disappointing for Baldassarri because I thought he was farther up in the standings. With a second place finish, he would have been pretty high up there, but he made a mistake. I mean, maybe it was my fault, but definitely let me know what you guys think, because I am interested in knowing what you guys think. Because I mean, it's not really on my conscience, because like I said, I was up front, I had the right line going into the corner. He came in too hot, trying to pass me in a position where it was just impossible, and he crashed out. It would have really pissed me off if he crashed me out, but to be fair, Bubba's crashed out plenty of people over the years now in Moto3 and Moto2, so it's been, it would have been payback. But regardless, first in the championship standings for the first time in Moto2, looking really good. As we go ahead and take a look at some highlights, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I mean, just like, look, I really enjoy, honestly, looking at the crash animations. Like, I didn't have anything to do with any of these crashes. It's just kind of funny to watch these guys go sliding across the dirt because the animation, like, watch, look at, I thought there was gonna be somebody flying over there, but it's just the animations are so damn funny. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, there he goes, there it is. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and of course, let me know what you think of the series and in general, what our chances are of winning the Moto2 championship and moving up the MotoGP as the world champion. So guys, thank you so much as always for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of the Bubba Speed Career Mode.